Good afternoon. This is Ron Brown. It's 20 minutes after the market closed on Friday, February 9th. The S&P got above 5,000 for the first time today, so it was another strong day in the market. But this video is a follow-up to the video I did yesterday. I'm just going to take a look and see how some of the, all of the watch list scans that I introduced in the prior video, how they did today. So let's go ahead and get started. Once again, all trading strategies are used at your own risk. And remember, you should have the software. You're going to have it if you want to use these scans that I've created. And I'm working on other things, and it's becoming a more powerful program even after all of these years that I've been working on this. Before I get into the watch list performance, I want to point out that under the most active scans, I've added a couple more. I've added 4 more, 2 of each. Most active up, NASDAQ 100 intraday. Most active down, NASDAQ 100 intraday. Most active S&P 500 intraday, up and down. So these are excellent scans if you're trading during the day to find prospects and what's moving. Now let's move on to these money flow scans, which is really the focus of this. I'm going to click on the money flow in weekly options. This is data from last night, Thursday. And you can see in these 2 columns the days since the 3 crossed the 6, both up and down. And I have a 5-day window on this. That may be too long, I'm not sure yet, but I'm experimenting with. The reason I'm doing this is to follow stocks that have crossed over and are still offering opportunity. Now, Taiwan Semiconductor, you can see it got extended here. Here is where the original date was, let's see, 5 days ago. Would be right here was the crossover, and you can see what a nice move it made. But it's extended now. It's digesting the gains. But let me make this full screen here so you can see how this entire list did. This is the night. I'm sorry. This is the end of day, and I should have had the intraday on there because what I showed you there was TSM, and when I spoke a few minutes or a minute ago, I thought I was on the end of day. I was on the end of day, and I wanted to be on the intraday. And now you can see that it's down for the day. So it's pulled back. But a lot of these followed through today. And let me minimize this, and let's just take a look at a few of them. So this is a 3-day window on INOVIX, I guess that's how you pronounce it. And you can see last night it was high, wide, and very high. Intraday it gained another 10.75%. So where was the crossover on here? It was right here on this day. If I put the crosshair on here, you can see it crossed on that day, and then it's had 2 strong days of follow through. Remember, these stocks are appearing in my money flow scans, and then they're also being filtered to let stocks that have crossed over in during the past, let these stocks in that have crossed over during the past 5 days or have not crossed over yet. So here's an example right here. HUT, you can see that it has not crossed over yet. It crossed to the downside 7 days ago. But on the upside, I'm allowing a 5-day window, and you can see that when I bring it up, there we go. I mean, this is a stock that's been in a downtrend. You can see that it's, when I put the crosshair on, it found support right here. There have been some positive VPA signals, but it's still negative down here. Today it did cross over. If you look at this spike right here on the 3, it's crossing over today. So this showed up in the money flow yesterday, and it was also getting some VPA signals, and today it followed through. But, it's not a great looking stock, no question about it. This is a daily chart with the moving averages. This is a daily chart that's just naked, doesn't have anything on other than the VPA flags. Okay, let's look MicroStrategies related to Bitcoin, which is up again today. Let's look at AMAT. This crossed over 5 days ago. And let's take a look at the crossover here. Okay, the crossover was right here on this day. If you look, you can see the green crossover. This was an excellent call. It was a stock in a strong uptrend. Can't talk today. Uptrend that had pulled back, found support at the 18 EMA, and then it started moving up, and it moved up nicely. This would have been a great debit spread or just a call option trade. I know those are tough to take, but the spreads give you some, your risk in the spread. But it was a great call on this. This is why I like to have a little longer window on some of these, just to see what happened after the move. Now here's just the plain chart over here, except with the exception of showing its relative strength compared to the S&P 500 and also its relative strength compared to its group. This shot up like this because the stock shot up. Okay, I'm going to move down the list here. Let's take a look at, both of these are 5 days ago. Let's look at Shopify. And where was the crossover on Shopify? Right there. And it continued to move up after a test and then a confirmation of that test with an effort to rise. Here's Snowflake. Okay, where was the crossover? Back here on that effort to rise. There was a prior one back here, but this is where it showed up in the money flow. And it probably showed up in money flow back here too. But you can see these work well in conjunction. The money flow, user smart groups, and also the triggers with the crossovers or the pullbacks. I like to look at these stocks that have not crossed over yet. This one, iRobot, was crossed down 26 days ago. Let's just take a look at it. And you can see under accumulation now. It was up again today, but this is a very hard hit, as you can see, but now we're getting accumulation. You can see it here with the VPA flags, and you can also see it here with the 3 and the 6 are coming together, so these spikes are headed up towards the 0 line. Okay, that's one of my scans. I don't want to spend too much time on this, so let's move on. Okay, let's look at money flow in 5-day pocket pivot, a 2-day window on the crossover. You can see there's just ones and zeros here. My thinking here is that I want to catch these with a big move as volume is coming into it. So where's the crossover? Right here. You can see the blue bars, the pocket pivots, the big volume spikes. Here it is, and it followed through. Again, I'm not familiar with some of these stocks, but this was a crossover yesterday. Expensive stock, but it did cross over yesterday. You can see it right there. That's because of the 0, and here's the follow through today. Big volume spikes, blue bars. Okay, let's do one more. This is related to Bitcoin. It's a miner, I believe. Riot's the same way. Oh, take a look. And that crossed over 2 days ago. 1 equals 2. So it crossed back here. You can see the crossover there. And then it followed through. Here was a test, confirmation of the test, and then it moved up. Okay, so how many of these? Let's take a look at the full screen. You can see that many of these followed through. There were a few failures. This is why I set it up like this. So you get the end of day, and then during the day, you just go to the intraday, and it shows you which of the stocks in the money flow and the filter from the money flow groups passing the filter are following through. Okay, let me move on to the next one. Okay, now these are CanSlim stocks. I'll make sure I'm on the intraday. These are CanSlim type stocks. I shouldn't say they're CanSlim because they have earnings growth of 20%, earnings and revenue growth both of 20%. And you can see these are all high relative strength stocks, and these are the gains for the day. There aren't that many of these stocks, but these all did go, once again, through the money flow and then through the filter. Now this one, American Superconductor, was negative, but it shot up today. That's what it looks like. I guess it didn't shoot up, but it's on its way. It still didn't cross over, but you can see that it's above a support area. This is a higher low than this is. And see, volume's very light here. I didn't require the blue pocket pivot bars on here. But this is setting up. This is one you could put in your in a watch list. But it's finding support on low volume. In other words, the selling has stopped on this. Let's take a look at MARA, M-A-R-A. And where did it cross over? It is a 0, so it was a crossover. The crossover day was yesterday, and it gapped up. Here's Robinhood markets. I haven't looked at Hood for a long time. And you can see that it crossed over right here 3 days ago, and it's under accumulation now. It's moving up. So those are the three. Now, we had a strong day today. I don't know what the money flow out did today. I haven't even looked at it. Okay, so you can, this is another place where you can find stocks that are reversing, changing polarity, maybe is a good way to say it. These stocks, more of these stocks that were down yesterday in the down money flow turned up today. It's such a strong market day. So this is where you can look for stocks if you're on the bull side, stocks that have pulled back and may be reversing course. Now, PayPal really sold off. I don't know why my charts aren't linking here, but you can see that PayPal tanked on earnings. It was overdone, according to traders, because they bought it near yesterday's low and closed it near today's high for a nearly 5% gain. Let's look at MBLY. Oh, this one's really beaten down too, but you can see now that it's under accumulation. It did cross over today, the 3 and the 6. It's got a lot of overhead and gap resistance here and so on. But this is, on a weekday, you would see a lot of these stocks continuing down. But it was such a strong day that many of them reverse course. Let's just take a look at one that continued down. It break down right here, and then it rallied for a day, and then it rolled over again right here, and it's continued down. So that's just a quick review of these money flow watch lists, creators, creations, whatever you want to call them, that I have put together. And I'll think about these. They may be modified, but right now I think they're working pretty well. So I hope you can find some good trades out of these. And if you have any bright ideas for me, just let me know. I thought I was finished with video, but I decided since the market's closed, I could use the Thinkorswim data. I just went into update and selected update and include intraday data, and then I ran an update. And this way I can look ahead and see what, I get all the information about what the money flow looks like for as it happened today is what I'm trying to say. So let's take a look at this first one. I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on this, but here's the first one. Now this was the intraday, but here is the end of day. And as I put this up here, this is the ninth. If you look down here in the lower right hand side, you'll see it's the ninth. And if I get my arrow up here and point this out, since I ran the update with Thinkorswim, and by the way, you can do this any day after the market closes if you want to get a jump on prospecting. So it says the ninth. This is data for the ninth, so it's current data. Now, one thing I want to point out here is there are some stocks that were appearing before. Remember PayPal? It was a down in the down scan, and it reversed on the chart, and I'm going to bring it up. And you can see PayPal here, but what is it? It's not in the downside now. It's in the upside because the money flowed into it today. So you can see how this money flow works. It catches this stuff as it happens. Now, it's still negative. There's still no crossover. It's going to be a while before there's a crossover unless we have another big day on it. But now, what I found most interesting is that it's appearing here already. Let's look at another one here. Here's Comcast, still negative. I don't know if it was in the down folder or not yesterday or a few minutes ago when I was doing the other one, but you can see just because there was a little money flow in here today after a massive sell-off, it's appearing here. So if you look down this column right here, bring this up, this is the days down since the 3 crossed, so that's negative. And that's where you want to be looking for stocks that are oversold or possibly oversold and now are coming back. Here's Intel. It's been negative for 11 days. Let's bring it up. And what do we find here? We find a stock that's seeing accumulation. So this is an excellent way to start finding early money flow. Just you can go ahead and update right after the market or wait until the night, the evening, or in the next morning. But look down this column here for stocks that are oversold and are just starting to see money flow. Let's do Cisco. 8 days ago, it turned negative. Look at the accumulation now on Cisco. Now, this is the first money flow. Let's just look. Let's see if anything's coming up in pocket pivot here, end of day. Here's one Merchants Bank Corp, which is negative on the crossover. And what do we have here? We have accumulation coming into it. High Tide, I'm not familiar with that. Specialty Pharma, it's a cheap, really cheap stock. Mitsubishi Financial. Here's one that's been down a long time. It's probably a biotech, healthcare services, and it's starting to see a little accumulation. This is a really strong downtrend, though, but still, you can see the pressure being less on it. Let's look at the can slim. Team, T-E-A-M, Altesian. I think that's how you pronounce it. But you're starting to see some accumulation here on the money flow. So these screens really do a decent job. Here's American superconductor we looked at, I believe, in the first part of this video. Starting to see accumulation. It's been down. It's been negative here for several days. So that's these are the kind of stocks you want to look at if you're trying to catch stocks that are bottoming out. And the other ones that have been multiple days, these are the ones that fired and they're continuing to go higher. Let's just take a look at intracellular. Where was the crossover? Well, it crossed here and then pulled back for one day and then crossed again right here and is moving up. Tel Education Group, this stock crossed up right here and it continues to move up. So this is why, as I've said before, I like to open this window up a little bit on these stocks, 5-day window. And I didn't take a look at the pocket pivot, did I? Let's take a look at these. Do a raw combo. Here's one right there's that Merchants Bank. Any others? Here's one we haven't. Yeah, no, we looked at that one, I believe. Cheap stock. St. Joe Company. I haven't looked at that yet. Okay, big volume here. See that? Well above the 90-day, starting to see accumulation. Okay, that's it. I just wanted to add this to the other video, the end of the other video, to show how you can download data at the right after the market closes if you want to, or you can wait. But what's important is the days since the crossover. If you're looking for, I set this filter up so these would show, and you can create a watch list of these stocks or trade them. Thanks for listening. Have a good weekend.